All right, mate. Thank you very much for joining us. How's it going?
Yeah, not bad. Can't complain. Like I just said to you, I'm got a few days off now. Over on Jeju, my first time here, so enjoying it so far. Lovely weather. I don't know if that's normal for this time of year in Korea, but yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's great. The spring seasons and fall seasons are the best time. Like, as I'm sure you've already experienced it in the summer, it's a bit humid.
Oh mate, unbearable at times.
Yeah.
I tell you, coming from Perth, and obviously it's hot, and we play in the summer over in Australia. You can climatize and you get used to the dry heat, and I don't mind it, to be fair. But this summer in Korea is something on another level. It's and the mugginess, and you step outside and you're wet through. It's tough.
Yeah. Well, you're at Pohang, obviously not on the south coast, but is Pohang the Portsmouth of Korea? Would you say?
You could say so. Yeah, on the coast. Although you don't have a steelwork factory in Portsmouth, or not that I'm aware of anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the coast there. Yeah, it's nice. It's quiet, and it's a nice city. It has stuff to offer. We've enjoyed it, our time being there, my family and I. So long may it continue, really.
Yeah. Well, you were at Stoke for a while as well, and obviously Stoke on a wet Tuesday night is usually the term that means a tough away trip. Has there been a K-League away match so far that's been a bit like that?
I wouldn't say there has been, really. I mean, since I've been playing, like I just said to you, it's been pretty muggy and humid, so I've not had that chilly factor yet. Although the first game I played, I got injured in my debut, didn't I, against Incheon, and it was a bit chilly on that day. But I can't really compare it to that because it wasn't as windy as what it gets in Stoke.
Yeah, blimey, yeah, Stoke.
Although we've been on the coast, it does blow a gale every now and then down in Pohang.
Yeah, it does a bit.
But, all right, I won't say there is. I think it's been the weather's been kind to me.
Yeah, it's been all right so far. I think also with the no fans being in the stands, or not very many, you can't really experience that Stoke atmosphere. But maybe next season, when you're back next season and stuff like that, you'll be able to see what some of the sort of best fans are. Pohang obviously got great fans. Suwon Blue Wings too. Perhaps that'll be the equivalent of like away at Stoke, quite an intimidating atmosphere at times. But from a team's point of view, how would you say the season's gone so far?
I think probably not as good as what we would have liked and what we would have hoped, if I'm honest. I think the start we had was promising, and we definitely showed glimpses over the course of the season. But just unfortunately, we've just not been able to maintain the consistent levels of teams above, and it's probably killed us in a sense in regards to our position on the league. I think we've let ourselves down in a few games, and everyone in the squad can probably hold a hand up and say, at some point here or there they've made a mistake or whatever. And as footballers do, everyone makes mistakes, but we've not sometimes always been able to bounce back from those mistakes well. And you've seen over the last month, we lost 4 in the bounce before the Guangzhou game, and it was great character from the lads to turn that game around at the weekend. So I think that's been probably the most disappointing thing, is the fact that we haven't been able to maintain that consistency. But there's definitely been promising signs and good areas of the season which we can look back on and be proud of. Obviously, these games that come to mind, ones that I played, and obviously the John Buck away was a good win. And there's been a few more as well, especially at the start of the season. I think the boys got grounded out some really good results and played really well. And we've had injuries, and I'm not using that as an excuse, but the squad has probably chopped and changed a bit more than what we would have liked. And that's probably been a contributing factor as well as to where we are in the league. But one thing I've noticed in Korea since I've been here is the fact that it always feels as though any team can beat anyone on the day. It all depends on who shows up. I think the playing styles of the majority of the teams are all pretty similar. I think just going into a game with the right mentality and the right attitude and the desire and hunger to win definitely is a real key factor, I think, in winning in the K-League, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. It can be a very hard league to predict results and scores and that, because like you said, it just depends on which team it is that turns up on the day.
Yeah, definitely. And that's how it feels sometimes as well. And I go back to the game against Jeju the other week when we got beat 4-2 at home, and it was probably a real low point for us in the season. And I think turning up that day, everyone obviously felt confident. Everyone wants to win, but you kind of got that sense within the first 5 minutes that this might not be our day. And when that mentality kind of spreads throughout the group, then it can be very hard to pull back. But going back a week before, we were away in Japan playing in the Champions League, and the resilience that the team showed there and the character was unbelievable. And to get a result there and get us through to the next round of the Champions League was immense. So it just shows you, like I said, that it can just be a case of turning up on the day and getting the result.
Yeah. For you personally, obviously, like you said, you're a bit unlucky with injuries in your first game, and that. Then now you're back in the team. You are a regular. Was that a bit of a relief to know that after that time out that you were able to sort of work your way back into the team?
Yeah, I think so. I think when I first came to Korea, I had a month. Obviously, I had to quarantine when I first arrived, and I had a month or so with the team. We went down to Changwon for 10 days. And then I finally got back to Pohang with the group, and I felt confident and felt fit going into the season, and was really looking forward to it, as you obviously are. And it was such a shame for me to break down in the first game like I did. And we weren't anticipating it to be as a lengthy stay out on the sidelines, but unfortunately that was the case. And to get back for the Champions League was kind of my goal towards the end of my rehab. I think we obviously had to keep pushing it back when I come back to playing, and I think I had my eyes set on the Champions League, and the club, the manager, everyone was good with me and wanting me to get back to the Champions League, and they were good with me over there. And we had a lot of games in a short schedule, so the minutes I got were really good, to be fair. And they didn't just throw me in and play me 90 minutes every game, because I would have more than likely broke down again. So it was good that they managed it well in that respect. And since I've been back, I feel like I've been playing well. And obviously the results, like I said, haven't been the greatest over the last month or so, but we have picked up some important wins. And like I said, the team on the day can turn up and play brilliant football. And I think one thing that we have shown, Pohang especially, is the resilience and how we've been hard to beat over the course of the season. I think teams find it very hard to break us down. We've defended really well. Before the last few weeks, we probably had the best defence on the table wise in the league. So with regards to least conceded, so that's been definitely a positive aspect. I think obviously the one area that we need to look at is creating more chances and scoring more goals to push us up that table.
Yeah, well, like you said, there's the ACL coming up again quite soon. Obviously, you made your way out of the group. It was Pohang's first appearance in the competition since 2016, so a bit of a long-awaited return. Obviously, now you're into the quarterfinals. Is that probably the minimum that you expected as a team to make it this far?
I think the way the Champions League, the way the games were scheduled, and I think the qualifying rules this season have been slightly different. Is that right, compared to last season's, where even if you finished second, it wasn't a guarantee?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because there's one extra group now, so it's all about best placed second teams and stuff like that. Yeah,
that's right. So I don't think, especially as foreigners, we weren't probably aware of that going into the tournament. It was one of those things we kind of found out last minute whilst we were there, which is generally the case. But that was one thing that was probably going against us, because I felt we did have a tough group, really. We had obviously Johor, the Malaysian champions, who, were a very good team, and Nagoya, they've obviously proven over the years how strong they are, and they probably were the best team in the group, and deservedly so. And even Ratchaburi really were no mugs, and they fought out a tough 0-0 draw against us late in the group as well. So, I mean, we were always optimistic about getting through the group. But like I said, I think when you compare the other groups, we definitely had one of the toughest ones, and especially with the Aussie teams dropping out and a couple of the Chinese teams as well. It made it easier for some of the other teams in the other group, but we were solely focused on the job at hand that we had, and I think we did well over there. We played really well, and that 1-1 draw against Nagoya in the last group, so that was a really important result, and here we are, like you said, in the quarters.
Yeah, it can't be easy as well going over to play against Nagoya in Japan. But you've got them again now in the quarterfinals. What are your thoughts on that draw? Are you happy to avoid playing another K-League team, or you play a team that you've already played this season? You know what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you could say so. I think we've definitely probably got the hardest fixture. I think both San and John Buck, they're familiar with each other as we are with them as well. But I guess we're lucky in that respect that we've played Nagoya already a couple of times. So we kind of know their style of play. We know how strong they are. But like I said, if we turn up on the day, there's no reason why we can't get a result and get through. And it's a one-off game, which can work to our advantage in a stadium that we sort of familiar with, whereas Nagoya might not necessarily be. So, I'm confident that we can get a win. I'm happy that we don't have to go to Japan, if I'm honest with you, because I don't think I could do another 2 weeks of quarantine or isolation or whatever it is. So they've kind of done us a favour, the AFC, in that regard. So yeah, I mean, I think the boys are looking forward to it, and now we've got a good 10 days or so before the game to prepare. That's going to be really important.
Like you said, yeah. The fact that it's not a home game, but it's in South Korea, that is an advantage then, isn't it? They have to come all the way over here. It's not going to be easy for them, is it?
No, I mean, it's only an hour flight. It's not.
It's not. But yeah, there's a lot of traveling involved. You have to
travel, but
you can't fly to Jeonju and that kind of thing. It's not as if you can sort of fly straight there and stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely that familiarity and probably the annoyance of having to travel, get on a bus, get on a plane, get on another bus, in a hotel. All those things that contribute to an away day.
Yeah.
In Asia, so I mean, it's something that I was used to playing in the A-League with it every other week. So
fair enough. Yeah.
Maybe I don't mind doing it.
Yeah, true. Well, the game's also been played over one leg and not two. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, like I said, I mean, with that being the case, it's almost like a final. So whoever turns up on the day and goes for it, it's like when we played Osaka the other week, we would definitely, you could tell within the first 10 minutes that we wanted it more and that we were going to get the result. And so we have to set the tone from the off, I think, straight away.
Yeah, obviously you mentioned it just before that obviously you want to sort of try and get more wins in the league and work way back up the league table, because obviously you want to try and qualify for Champions League next year. Is it kind of ironic that sort of you are looking towards qualifying for next year, but you have the ACL this year as a little bit, not as a distraction, but it's kind of balancing two things at once.
It is in a sense, I guess. I mean, the schedule this season has been, an anomaly and has been hectic. And the breaks that we've had is, and then backed up with busy schedules has been crazy, so it's been very demanding on the players physically and mentally, because of the travel as well. I think, especially this period is one of the toughest to be professional football, if not, anyone. Everyone's struggling all over the world, but yeah, it's definitely hard when you're traveling and going overseas, playing in the Champions League, away from family, especially as a foreigner as well, when really you don't have anyone. And my wife and my son are stuck in Pohang, and they don't have many friends here. So it's all those things that kind of contribute to making it a lot tougher than what it generally is or has been in the past. And like you said, we want to finish as high as we can in the league, so that's another important thing. And we've got one game really, another final, I guess, against Incheon now, where we need to win that and hope that results go our way as well, so that we break into the top six. So yeah, I'm a bit disappointed in the fact that we kind of rely on other teams because, you always want to go out there and win and know that by doing so we'll get you in the best possible position in the league. But unfortunately, we're not in that position, and we don't have that luxury. And so we get in the top six, and then we know, as we've shown over the course of the season, we can beat some of the teams that we played in those top six positions and push higher up the table.
Yeah, I just want to ask you a little bit about the perception of the Champions League in Australia, because obviously you were involved in the ACL with Perth Glory. Is it seen as a less important competition for A-League teams, do you think?
I don't know. It's a massive competition. When we won the Premier's Plate with Perth and we broke into the Champions League, it was obviously their first time that they've been in a competition, and it's regarded as the biggest competition domestically in Asia, and is highly regarded in Australia. So all the teams want to get into those positions. It always chops and changes the rules as to how you can qualify. And I think they've lost half a spot over the last 3 or 4 years or so, and that's probably because of the way Australian teams have performed over there. But I mean, in Australia, you do have the disadvantage of the travel. And backing it up with a busy schedule. You could be playing in Perth or wherever in Australia, and then having to fly straight from that game to an Asian country, say China or Japan or even Korea for that matter, and then flying directly to an away game back in Australia. So the amount of miles and Ks you're racking up over the course of the period you're in the competition is, it's crazy. But that's obviously what you have to deal with when you're playing in a competition in a continent that's so big. But yeah, like I said, I think the fact that the Aussie teams dropped out, I don't know for sure, but obviously it's because of the logistics of quarantining, and because the quarantine matters and whatnot in Australia are so strict. I think logistically it's just impossible for the teams to take part in a competition, and then obviously they've got their league duties as well to consider, which probably are more important for the Australian game than competing in the Champions League at this moment in time.
Yeah, I want to ask you a question about sort of being a centre back, and that is I think nowadays there's more and more people are kind of aware of like micro positions within a starting lineup. So now it's like left-footed centre backs is like a thing where people are saying, oh, he's obviously, this guy's worth a lot of money because he's a left-sided centre back. As a centre back yourself, is that important to have a left-footed player playing on the left side of a back four? Is it really that important, or does it not really matter that much?
I don't know. I guess you'd have to ask the managers. It's a good argument or a good question for them to ask, and how they prefer it. For me, obviously, for me personally, not being biased or anything, but I think a left-sided centre half is definitely better suited on the left side of defence. Obviously, it makes sense, and you do see. It all depends on the player. I think if you've got a player who's good with both feet, then it doesn't matter. But if you have, like the majority of players they do have a dominant foot, then I think probably it is better to have a left-sided player on the left and then a right-sided player on the right. But it is a bit of a rarity. I think there aren't that many left-sided centre-backs knocking around. I know we've got 2 left-sided Aussie centre-backs now in the K-League, so now Lockie Jackson's come in as well. So there's a few floating around, but not many. So I think it is nice or good for teams to have in the locker. I think definitely for switching play, and I mean, it's obviously not so much the positioning, it's just basically when you have the possession of the ball, the angle of the pass and whatnot, and when you're receiving it, playing into midfield, it can be a little easier doing so if you've got a left-sided player on that side. But, it's if you've got one on hand, and it's a bonus, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about, obviously, you've scored a few goals as well recently, 2 in quite quick succession. Is that something that the manager wanting to try and make advantage of? Obviously, your kind of physical presence in the box and stuff?
Not particularly. No, I think I probably could have had a couple more going back to the Champions League, and I missed an absolute sitter against Ratchaburi when we drew 0-0. Scarred it over the bar from 5 yards out. And then I've had a couple of half chances back in the league since I've been back playing. So I always feel like I'm a threat. And like you said, I've got that physicality in the box and whatnot all over the pitch. So it's something I still think I need to work on and improve. The 2 headers that I've got have been good goals, to be fair, but the results haven't gone our way in either of those games. So you take too much from it. Yeah, it's always good to get on the score sheet, but it really only matters if you win, doesn't it? So it was a bit disappointing in that regard that my first goal in the K-League was a loss against Ulsan, a derby, which would have been nice to have got the winner. But yeah, it's something I need to keep working on. It's funny, I was telling my dad about it. I was watching the Prem and just watching was it Thiago Silva when he scored the other week? I can't remember who it was against. And I was just watching his movement, and then because in the past I've always bolted into the box and try to give everything, and I thought, oh well, maybe tomorrow I'll just take it easy, just watch the flight of the ball, watch it come in, and then react off the ball rather than me going too soon and trying to score a worldie. But yeah, it worked. So yeah, I'm always looking at change up what I do, my style, and it's always good, like I said, to get on the end of one.
Yeah, well, hopefully there's more goals to come, and goals in wins for Pohang as well. So, mate, thank you very much for your time. Good luck against Nagoya, and of course, good luck for the rest of the season.
Cheers, mate. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, mate. Cheers. See you later.